Last year, I did a podcast episode after coming back from Disney World about what event planners could take from the Disney experience. And Disney is, of course, known for their experience. It's so immersive, the customer service is spot on. They really take guest experience to a next level. So I have last year's episode, but was recently at the parks again. And this time I did all four parks and a cruise. So was really immersed in the full Disney experience. And I have some more tips and things that I think that we really could learn from the Disney experience. So one of them is like a funny story. So we were doing one of the rides, and at the very last minute, my husband decided that it was just going to be too spinny. His vertigo was not going to be cooperating. So he opted out right at the last minute. So I still went ahead and did the ride, and a cast member told him to wait for me at the exit. And somehow we missed each other. So I came out, went through the gift shop, figured that he was outside of the gift shop, and messaged him and said, "Hey, where are you? Like, I can't find you." And he messaged me and he's like, "I'm still inside. They told me to wait by this door." I'm like, "I did not see you. I don't know how I missed you, but I did." It's flight of passage. So if you know the building and then you know the ride, like there's stairs going everywhere. And so he asked a cast member, like, "How do I get out of here?" And the guy's like, "What do you mean? Like, how did you not just leave with everybody else?" So my husband tells him the story and he's like, "Okay, well, this is how you get out of there." And my husband starts to leave, and the guy says, wait a second, wait a second." And he comes back with two Mickey ice cream bars because we had a bit of a mix up. Totally not a big deal. I didn't even think anything of it. I was just sitting outside enjoying the sunshine. And my husband texts me. He's like, "Okay, I'm on my way to you. I know where you are now." And he comes out with two Mickey ice creams. Now it is probably 8:30 in the morning. And did I have a Mickey ice cream bar for breakfast? Yes, I did. And I think it's just, that's surprising and delighting. And, at the parks, they call it pixie dusting when it really wasn't even that big of a deal. And sure, maybe other people would have been more annoyed that they couldn't find each other for a few minutes, but really, like, we were both adults with phones, like, it wasn't a big problem. But the fact that, he went out of his way to give us Mickey ice creams, which I would have had anyways, maybe not for breakfast, but I would have had anyways, really turned the whole moment into like something fun and delightful. And the smile on my face on Instagram says it all. So I think that, yes, we can surprise and delight and build that into our programs. But how do we improve a customer's experience or an attendee's experience when something doesn't go exactly as planned? Even if it's not that big of a deal, just having something to say, "Hey, sorry about that. Sorry about that minor inconvenience," is gonna leave such a nice feeling for that attendee. On the cruise ships, and this is a very well known Disney cruise ship thing, if you've gone on Disney cruise ships, they announce every family or group boarding. I always assumed that they just did it based on when you tap on and they just use that name, but actually I learned that they ask you how you want to be introduced onto the ship. I also assume you could say that you don't want to be introduced onto the ship. So as you're walking in, they welcome you, they ask you what name you would like to be introduced as, they welcome you on board. There's princesses and princes standing on the balconies waving to you, really telling you that you're in a magical place. You know, I think that so often our registrations, and I know like a lot of people are starting to improve this, but our registrations are just a table, pop up banner, back wall maybe, and a pile of name badges, right? How can we bring that like magic and excitement into the registration? Like, this is your event kicking off. This is supposed to tell people that you're going to do something different for the next day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is. How do you get that experience to be more exciting than, "Okay, what's your name? Okay, here's your badge, here's a lanyard, we'll see you later." So I think that it doesn't need to be like formal introductions. Maybe princesses aren't the right vibe, but how can you make it more exciting than just like a pre-function space with the same old, right? I think that there's a lot that we can learn from that welcome. that is really going to enhance the attendee experience. And I know that even some people are doing it from the airport, right? Like how are you welcoming your guests? If you're doing a citywide, like how do they know that they're in a new place? How do they know that they're in for something exciting and different? And then lastly, I think Disney just does really well at telling people what to expect. Their app is great with wait times. It tells you when you can order food, how long you would have to wait for a mobile order, what the wait times are at any of the dining restaurants that might have availability. And I think setting expectations is such a big deal. Like I've talked about this before, sticking to your agenda, not because you have like yes, you have to. Sticking to your agenda is such a big deal because you've told people what to expect. And when you veer off of that, you start to lose their trust. You start to lose their buy-in, right? If, 2 minutes here and there, fine. But if you have a keynote going a half hour over, 10 and 20 minutes over, people are getting antsy. They're looking at the clock, they're not listening anymore. And sometimes your keynotes will think, or your session leaders will think, oh, but they're loving the content. Well, are they? Are they even paying attention to you anymore? So I think like when you're explaining how long things are going to take, sticking to that time frame is so important because you've gotten their buy-in, and the second that you lose them from that, you lose them from the event, you lose their attention. And, along with the wait times, and we know that they're long at Disney World, but people keep paying to go, right? So clearly it's not a deterrent for lots of people. One thing that they have also proven is that people are willing to pay for convenience. So it may not work for every event, but is there a way for them to skip a line? Is there a way for them to have priority or something at your event, right? We're all trying to figure out how to get people to buy early, and early bird discounts aren't cutting it anymore. So what are people willing to pay for? They're willing to pay for convenience, and they're willing to pay to get their time back. So how do you get their time back? How do you make the event more seamless for them? That's gonna depend on the size of your event and the style of event, but knowing what people are willing to pay for and that discounts are not motivating people anymore. Like, they know that either they're gonna be able to get that price later or their work is paying for it, so they don't really care. What is it that people actually care about? And at Disney World, it's convenience. They care about skipping the line. Disney World has the minivans, which is a partnership with Lyft. They cost more money, but they always have child seats. They will take you door to door versus where the other lifts go. So people are willing to pay for convenience and willing to pay for a VIP experience. You'll see it when you're at the parks. You see people on the VIP tours with the cast members that are in their VIP tour uniforms. And you know that those people have paid hundreds of dollars an hour to skip the line. So, how can you either monetize it or incentivize people with the things that they care about beyond just a discount? So, that is what I learned this year from Disney World and my Disney experience. Again, of course, the service above everything. They really understand hospitality. I know that for myself when I go to a venue and they're not very hospitable, I remember that. And that's why people continue to pay lots of money to go. That's why they're willing to stand in line. That's why they're willing to, put up with the stress of Disney because they know that the payoff is there. So I'd love to know how you're incorporating these ideas, or maybe from my last episode, or what you've learned from either attending Disney World or Universal or any other of the major theme parks, and what you're doing to bring that attendee experience into your own events.